Alright, welcome to the garage. In this video, I'm going to talk about why I think the Branson is an underdog, why it has value, and why I think the underdogs are soon going to be the top dogs in the subcompact or compact tractor game. Go through a little bit of the history of the company, talk about some of the features of this particular tractor, talk about some of my opinions after roughly 50 hours of use. So join me. Alright, so a little bit about Branson. Branson is not a household name for tractors like the John Deeres, Mahindras, Massey Fergusons, maybe even Bobcat, Coyote, Kubota. There are some newcomers in the field, and then there are some, what I'll say is parent company tractors, the Yanmars, LS, TYM. So going back all the way to 1998, Branson was established by 2003. Kukja Machinery owned Branson, and then from 2003 until 2016 was independently owned by Kukja, that's a South Korean company. In 2016, TYM, or Tongyang Mulson, began acquisition of Kukja and the Branson name. And in 2021, Tongyang Mulson completely took over Kukja and the Branson name, and now TYM USA owns Branson. That is the subsidiary of TYM here in the United States. And at this point in time, TYM is one of the fastest growing tractor companies, if not the fastest growing. By market share. It's been growing 17% year over year. And why that might matter to you and why it definitely matters to me is despite Branson being a popular brand, it now has a company that can fund the parts, the training for technicians, as well as really market themselves to dealers as what you might consider a name brand. So with that, Tongyang Mulson has put $20 million, I believe in May of this year, into the Branson name for their Rome, Georgia location. That's going to expand from not just training of technicians, but manufacturing and putting the tractors together here in the United States. That's a pretty recent announcement. I believe that has begun. I reached out to Branson, haven't gotten a response yet. Really wanted to get this video out there, but I may follow up with more information once they respond. So really with the Branson tractor, why did I choose it over what I would consider the giants? In this case, the dealers near me. Massey Ferguson dealer, closest one to me was about 45 minutes away. There's a Kubota dealer about 25 minutes away. There's a John Deere dealer about 20 minutes away. And then a Mahindra Branson dealer 25 minutes away. And when I started to compare features, specifications for what I in particular would be using this tractor for, which would be primarily taking back some of my property from overgrowth. So looking at front end loader specs, looking at hydraulic flow capacity, looking at really the overall function of the backhoe. That's something that I've used most of my 50 hours on this. I've actually been using the backhoe to dig up stumps, rocks, roots, dig trenches, because my property really needs some drainage. I was really just comparing in the end the Kubota, John Deere, tractor loader backhoe, and the Branson. And in the end it came down to John Deere and Branson based on what I was specifically looking for, which were those categories again. The John Deere was a 6-month lead time. The Branson was on the lot. Arguably not an important factor, all things considered, because John Deere's are in high demand. It's a name brand. No one really knows Branson. you're taking a risk by going with one versus the other, or at least that's what you would think. The price difference, I got this tractor in front of you for $19,000, a little over $19,000, and the comparable John Deere was between $25,000 and $26,000. I got a phone quote, I don't have a written down quote. All right, so inside we have a Yanmar 3-cylinder diesel, pretty standard. The 22 delineation in the name means this is a 22 horsepower tractor. The engine actually has 21.5 horsepower. It's close enough. 15.1 horsepower to the PTO. Everyone talks about it, but no one really cares once they actually get the tractor. But the hood is metal, and it opens quite far enough for me to get any maintenance done, and it's easily removable. One thing I do like about this is that this particular Yanmar, not this specific variant, but the short block and a lot of the supporting systems, has been in use for many years, likely had millions of hours of runtime. No serious issues known with this particular engine. One thing specific to this tractor that you won't see, I don't think, in any other tractor this size, you don't always have to use this. If you're just driving around, the engine automatically revs up based on how much throttle you're giving. What the only downside is that can lead you then to drive into something, go to use the loader, and realize that the engine has automatically gone back to idle. So then you'll have to bring the engine speed up. It's not that big of a deal, but it is one thing to know if you get this tractor. 2-range transmission, high, neutral, low. Got your 4-wheel drive. And then my biggest complaint, and the thing I really wasn't wanting to settle for, but I was between, again, 3 tractors: the John Deere, the Kubota BX, and this. 2 out of the 3 with a treadle style pedal. This treadle pedal is sort of a pain in the butt. A lot of people like to operate push down for forwards, pull up for reverse. The spring in this would need to be adjusted. It is very painful on your toes to get your foot up under here and go in reverse. A lot of times I find myself catching on this or being unsure. A lot of times I'm looking over my shoulder and it's difficult to find this pedal. It would be easier to have dual pedal setup, but again, $19,000 tractor compared to the $26,000 tractor, obviously those prices will vary dealer to dealer. I found this to be something I decided to settle for. One of the deciding factors here for me was the loader itself. I have the smallest loader from the Branson line, the BL92S. This thing is still quite a monster. It has 1,362 pounds of breakout force at the pins, 847 pound lift capacity at the pins, and very much like the New Holland and John Deere tractors, which you may have heard of if you're watching a lot of YouTube videos, those numbers are underestimates. Those are, I would say, engineering safe numbers. This thing will lift more than that, and I'm going to demonstrate that in the next clip. This machine weighs, bare weight, 1,433 pounds. The loader and bucket adding another 439 pounds for 1,872 pounds. The backhoe likely, they don't publish a weight spec for this, probably adds, I would guess, 500 to 700 pounds of effective weight based on the 33-inch overhang. And then obviously you want to ballast your tires. I have mine. I have another 200 pounds of ballast loaded into my tires. My dealer did that free of charge. Make sure if you're buying a subcompact tractor, you talk about getting little freebies like that, you're always going to get something. 2 things I really don't like in addition to the treadle pedal. They're not deal breakers, but they are big inconveniences. One, putting up the ROPS, the rollover protection. This was not the best piece manufactured on this tractor, as noted by the misalignment for the pins. So it comes up, you put pins in, and the very first time I tried to get the pins in, I had to beat them in with a hammer and pry them out with the claw. It's gotten better. There's not much alignment I can do with these hinge bolts. It's just sort of something that over time it'll kind of hopefully wear in. Now that's number 2. The treadle pedal's number 1. This is number 3, and it's equally as bad as the treadle pedal in my mind. Kubota and John Deere, and even Massey Ferguson, and maybe new brands and newer models, have their loader joysticks mounted right here, which is nice. I don't know that I would like that. I do like having it here and operating from here. What I don't like is that because of the gear shifter and this being so close, I really can't enter and exit the tractor from this side, so I have to walk around. If I get off the tractor to look at something, to do something, to move something, whatever it may be, and I'm on the joystick side of the tractor, I have to walk all the way around the front, walk all the way around the back to get back in the seat, or kind of fit myself in between. Now there is some adjustment. I can move this up or down. I don't see that making much of a difference. Maybe you could cut this stick short, that would help, but then I'll be honest, this valve doesn't have much fine control. So the fine control is added by the length of the joystick, because the valve itself, it's pretty damn near open or closed. So I don't know that I'd want to shorten the joystick, but that is an inconvenience for sure. So this is some bonus footage of me trying to count the weight as I unloaded it, despite my grasp of numbers and math. I fail, but that's my overview. Some of the features, some of the reasons why I think if you're in the market for a subcompact tractor, that the Branson 2205H makes a whole lot of sense. There will be a lot more videos in the future, so stay tuned, and thanks for watching.